911, where's your emergency?
I just killed my mother. And
What happened, sir?
I just killed my mother, and I need to go to the hospital.
Creepypastas are some of the strangest things on the internet. A lot of them are created from nothing. They're nothing more than a fictional story designed to terrify. Some of them are created from real horror stories, murders or deaths that eventually spiral into a convoluted story that strays pretty far from the truth. But sometimes, very rarely, they start as fictional, but slowly and terrifyingly, they become real. Jeff the Killer might seem like nothing more than a fictional creepypasta designed to horrify its viewers, but never actually result in any harm. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Today, lady and man, we are taking a deep dive into the horrific truth behind Jeff the Killer, the disturbing backstory behind the image being linked to a suicide, and the way that Jeff the Killer resulted in one of humanity's most horrific murders. Buckle up. This story gets pretty fucked up. In the world of internet horror, a few names stand out. Slenderman, Ben Drowned, Smile Dog, Logan Paul. But few characters have had quite the same eerie staying power as Jeff the Killer. He's one of the most recognizable faces in creepypasta history. Pale, stretched skin with wide staring eyes, a long, weird smile, and a phrase burned into the memory of a generation of internet users. Go to sleep. Sort of sounds a lot like your creepy Uncle Steve that no longer gets invited to family events. Where did Uncle Steve go, Mum? Where did he go? But where did this strange character come from? Who made him? No one knows. I'm kidding. We do know. That's why I made this video. To answer those questions, we need to go back to the late 2000s, when the internet was a different place entirely. Back then, horror stories weren't being told through polished YouTube videos of a guy holding a spoon. They were a lot different and usually shared on forums like 4chan, Something Awful, Newgrounds, and later, eventually, Creepypasta Wiki. These stories were written by anonymous users just for fun. No one did it to be famous or gain recognition. People used to just create to create. It was cool back then. Now I have to worry about my SEO friendly description so that I can eat dinner this week. I'm not kidding. Please subscribe so the YouTube overlords push this video. Don't tell them I said that. I'm sorry, YouTube overlords, I'm sorry. No, no! Creepypastas back then felt real, as though you had stumbled across a strange and unsettling document. And this is exactly the vibe that Jeff the Killer was going for. The exact origin of Jeff the Killer is sort of hard to pin down, and that's not uncommon with creepypasta characters, because the stories were open-ended and user-submitted. There wasn't a single author or publication date. Instead, Jeff evolved across multiple versions of the same core story. The earliest written versions of the Jeff story began circulating in 2008 by DeviantArt user Saussure, the pseudonym of Jeff Case. Saussure began posting on Newgrounds in 2008 under the alias Killer Jeff, where they described a Bloody Mary-like ritual that supposedly summoned Jeff. I don't think they expected it to be linked to a murder case.
14-year-old Donovan Nicholas committed an act so heinous that it not only upended his life, but ended another and impacted the lives of many more.
More on that later. In the original story, Jeff accidentally spilled a bucket of acid on his face while trying to clean his bathtub. But it wasn't until 2011 that the most notable version of the Jeff the Killer story emerged. It follows a teenager named Jeffrey Woods, who was attacked by a group of bullies. The altercation ends with Jeff being nearly arrested for assault, but his brother Lou takes the blame. And this causes Jeff to become depressed and introverted and never leave the house. Who does that sound like? So his concerned parents forced him to attend a party where he encounters the same bullies from the earlier fight. Jeff kills them and then is doused in alcohol and set on fire, and then gets discharged from the hospital and is completely disfigured. So in order to feel better, he disfigures himself even more and carves a smile into his face and then removes his eyelids and then kills his family. It's a strange story, but eventually he becomes a serial killer, targeting victims by sneaking into their home at night, and then he is known for whispering the phrase, "go to sleep," before killing his victims. I'm not sure how they knew that. Wouldn't he kill the victims? How is there a witness to hear him say "go to sleep"? Anyway, the story was far from polished. In fact, at the time, it kind of read like a 12-year-old wrote it, but that's why it resonated. It was simple but pretty fucked up, about alienation, transformation, revenge, and for a lot of young readers at the time, it hit a chord, maybe a little bit too much.
We have an update on a Champaign County man accused of killing his dad's girlfriend in 2017.
Again, we will get into that very shortly. Just bear with me. The real reason Jeff the Killer became iconic wasn't actually the story, it was the image. The photo most commonly associated with Jeff is still spooky. A pale, featureless face, deep black eyes, a wide, inhuman smile. It looks part human, but also like a corpse. This image was shared on image boards and forums labeled jeff.jpg, often without context. And that's partly what made it so scary. It felt like something you weren't supposed to see, something unnatural. And over time, the image and the story became fused. You couldn't think of one without the other. And like many super spooky internet mysteries, the question quickly became, where did this photo come from? Over the years, numerous theories emerged about the origin of the Jeff image. Some believed it was a heavily edited photo of a young girl named Katie Robinson, and the story was that she had been bullied online and eventually killed herself. This theory was repeated so often that it began to seem like fact, but that wasn't actually the story at all. In fact, that girl in the image is still alive. And Jeff the Killer isn't even her. It's not the same image. So the professional internet researchers dug deeper, and the true story behind it started to get more clear. Multiple image comparisons, deep dives into the internet archives, and timeline checks revealed that the Katie Robinson photo and the Jeff image weren't related at all. So, where did that image come from? Well, according to the story creator Saussure, he created both the story and the image. This has actually never been confirmed, and I don't think it is, because he never really showed any evidence, but no one found any proof of the actual origin, so I guess we'll just say it's him. As YouTube grew, Jeff's story followed. Between 2010 and 2013, countless YouTube channels began producing animated retellings, text-to-speech readings, and even fan-made Jeff the Killer movies. By 2012, Jeff was appearing in Minecraft mods, indie horror games, and even mobile apps. It literally became a weird creepypasta extended universe. Beat that, Marvel. And for a while, it was pretty harmless. Sure, his image and the story were scary, but everyone knew that it was just a fictional story, right?
And he blamed his second personality for stabbing Heidi Faye Taylor 60 times.
Right, guys?
Most of us would say Donovan was a normal kid.
Nothing weird happened, right?
He was just a middle schooler when he stabbed his dad's girlfriend 60 times and then shot her.
On April 6, 2017, 14-year-old Donovan Nicholas fatally stabbed and shot Heidi Taylor, his father's longtime girlfriend, in their home in Urbana, Ohio. During a 911 call made from the scene, Nicholas, speaking in an unsteady voice, claimed that an alternate personality named Jeff, inspired by Jeff the Killer, had taken control and carried out the attack. Oh boy. Investigators later determined that Nicholas had dressed up as Jeff the Killer during the murder, and he wore black clothing and even slashed his mouth to mimic the character's signature grin. Prosecutors stated that he had ambushed Taylor near the front staircase, calling her downstairs before launching the attack. And why did he do that, you may ask? Why did he carry out such a gruesome attack? Because his father's girlfriend took away his phone while he was sexting. Yep. Like, share, comment, subscribe.